Welcome to Pot of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting, brought to you by Blue Microphones. They look great. They sound even better.
Slow down, Andy.
Thank you.
Don't you hurt yourself.
Slowing down.
Or you go to the glue factory.
You know, my favorite thing about the show,
Down, Andy.
almost 10 years into it, is that when we play the intro song, sometimes one of the three of us is still shaking their head in disbelief over some addition to the song or something, you know.
Yeah.
Some thematic thing that happened.
Well, the yeah, followed
That was
by
it today.
Juan Cruché's laughter.
But, you know, you just think this far into it.
You think it's over, and then
Yeah.
something else is at the tail end of it that you forgot about every week.
Right. Yep. So,
The greatest maniacal laugh of all. I mean,
really, it's
you know,
undefeated.
you've got many great performances of the Joker.
Yeah.
You've got Cesar Romero.
Yep.
You've got, I know as far as voice acting goes, people hail Mark Hamill's
Incredible.
his rendition.
Yep.
Many.
Mm-hmm.
Juan Cruché, more believably maniacal in his delivery than any of them.
Yep. I agree with you. Maybe he'll get the next role in the next reboot. I don't know. But anyway, you know me. It's your buddy Andy, America's little brother, and the man I've been speaking to. There he is. He's going to dance for you. There he goes. Look at him go, polka dancing his way across the podcast studio.
Watch out now.
Look out. Yep. Nick Pollock's in the house.
Here it comes.
Dressed comfortably.
Good evening, young gentlemen, and the few young ladies listening.
Mm-hmm. Nick is dressed either for podcasting or polka dancing. Either way.
And how nice it is that I do both at the same time every single week. So
You got to be the only one doing it. And two Nicks left. You want them. We got them.
Ben behöver en rivalry-man. Du killar kommer att ta mig den här stådan. Ben behöver en rivalry-man.
Andy's losing it.
Det kommer att råda rättvisa runt om.
Put your hands together. The breakout star of the podcast medium.
Just leave that there.
Yeah. Nothing to be
No
seen
explanation.
here. Yeah, nothing to be seen here. Let's move along.
Is that the Elos Dinos version?
Believe it or not, that was not supposed to be a Hispanic rendition.
But it's the way it
Well,
sounds.
what is it?
So based on our website hits from predominantly non-English speaking countries, Sweden came in at number 1.
So we're giving them a special treat.
Yeah,
The Gunslinger in Swedish.
Revolver Man is what it translated to,
You know, I think Fogarty might want to look
which
into that.
might be even cooler than Gunslinger.
That is
Revolver Man's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's. I would say so. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Wasn't that... Oh, no, that's Rifleman. I was going to say, wasn't that a series of
That
Western
was.
books that our dad used to read?
That was a TV show.
Or that too, right?
Yeah,
It was probably a TV show verse. I don't know.
yeah.
Am I right, though? Or am I thinking of something else? All those, like... They're like...
No, that was something else.
That was something else? They're like
I forgot-
150-page serial...
Yeah,
books.
I forgot what it was called, but no, The Rifleman was that old black and white TV show
Okay.
about a man and his son.
I see.
Nick alluded to young ladies who might be listening to the show. One of them is your friend Jackie, right?
Mm-hmm.
She sent me some this week's Slow Down Andy news update.
Oh, good.
She's our on-the-scene reporter.
Yeah. Slow Down Andy on October 1st, which is was a week ago. Was not this previous Saturday, but the Saturday before, I guess. Mm-hmm. Finished third in the Awesome Again Stakes at Santa Anita warm-up race for the Breeders'
The
Cup.
Awesome Again steak.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Well, he is awesome again.
yeah. He's just...
He was down.
He had a cold, or
And he's
whatever,
dead.
a horse cold. He was
Yeah.
a sick horse. He's feeling better. It was bad timing. You know, bad time to
Yeah.
be sick right around the Kentucky
But
Derby.
his comeback is possibly unprecedented.
Yeah. And I mean, what's the life of a racehorse as far as top tier competition. Could he be in the Derby next year, or is he like?
I don't see why
No,
not.
Dunsky.
No?
I think it's all like a certain age, like your 3-year-olds maybe.
That's
Then
what,
you're done.
okay. That's what I was thinking. So he might be out.
Yeah.
He's just got to win all these the People's Choice Awards of horse racing.
The
Golden Globes, yeah. No Oscars for Slow Down Andy. Well, thank you,
No,
Jackie.
I mean, but he's still in the money. That's encouraging.
Well, money's good, yeah, but
He
it's
might
not
win he might win the Gallup poll.
He might be,
Exactly.
he might be going light, hoof off the gas pedal, so to speak.
Yeah, but
Getting ready for the big, high stakes race
he's not
coming
gonna,
up first weekend in November.
That's great.
What's it called? The Awesome Man,
Awesome
Revolver
again.
Man race.
So you have to have a revolver man riding on you.
That would be cool.
He has to shoot a certain amount of targets.
That would be
The
cool.
Awesome Again Stakes at Santa Anita Park.
All right. Well, I'd like to know more, but I'm not gonna waste.
I had one of
everyone's
those
time.
at Outback one time. The Awesome Again steak. It was great.
Just like they eat them down under, right, Nick?
Yep, maybe that version will be next week.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
Is that a different? Is there enough slang to put in there to make it different?
Yeah, but I don't.
We'll have to find out.
It's all
from our
filthy.
buddies. That's true.
Yeah, the last time I was there, I went for the seafood offering. I got the crikey crawfish. And, yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, that's good. By crikey. Okay. Next order of business. I see Ziploc bags.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Big treat, big treat, big treat.
It's a nice bag.
Another unbaked treat.
Another unbaked treat.
But if all goes according to plan next week, I'll be back to baking. Now this one got a little.
You got
bit-
your own bag over there.
This one's a little messy, so I'd maybe recommend poking a little out of the, popping it out of the bag a
There's
little.
A
and
lot, of,
taking-
lot of stuff in here, too.
Yeah, I packed it in there. So, what that is, that's kind of
A lot of
What-
chunky.
leaking out of the bottom is like a caramel sauce.
Okay.
Okay.
It kind of got away from me.
Yeah. But there's like various chunks of stuff.
Various
Are
Are
there
there
these
apples
things.
in there?
There are Granny Smiths in there.
There's
Jeez.
apples in there.
That's
I almost thought it was celery there for a minute.
If there was celery, I would toss it right out of here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's
Garbage food.
it's supposed to be. Oh yeah,
It's like
Sorry.
with the peanut delight, I'm 100% in alignment with you.
but I will say,
like hold on, I'm still talking about celery.
I wanted to interject about celery
Oh,
too.
okay. Then feel free.
When if you're sautéing,
Put the rage music on for this.
mine's not rage actually.
Well, mine will be.
Yours will be rage filled. Well, hold on.
If you're sautéing butter
Mm-hmm.
and you've got celery and carrots going for a little while
Yeah.
before you do a soup or whatever, or one of the best smells in the kitchen.
Is it?
I think so, yeah.
So what's the reason for celery? There's no flavor in celery.
There's-
So what? Why is it such a?
I guess there is
Why is
some
it
sort
used so often? Have
Some
you ever
sort of-
eaten a stalk of celery? There's no fucking flavor there.
Usually I've got to
It's
have
terrible.
it cooked in a soup or something. Yeah, I don't usually I've never done ants on a log or anything
Ew.
like that.
I don't even. What is ants on a log?
So it's when you take a celery stalk, smother peanut butter on it, and then the ants
Are raisins.
and you eat it as
That's
a
the
snack.
stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
It's like a children's snack. I don't know what child would eat that.
But it's like what I don't understand why celery is like in everything, in soups and whatever. It has no flavor. You cook it in a soup, there's no texture to it.
I think the intention is that it just picks up whatever flavor of its surroundings, and then you've got an extra crunch. Not really crunch, but an extra thing to bite.
But you speak of the crunch. That's why people include it in like potato salads and tuna salads and stuff. I don't need the crunch. Fuck the crunch. Keep
with
the
you.
celery out of there.
I don't like it at all. I don't
Hate
want
it when it's included in like a macaroni salad or
It
something.
ruins everything.
It's like who decided that there should be some crunch in that? It's a terrible decision.
I agree with you. I don't want it in
Fuck
anything.
celery.
Yeah. I used to work for a guy who would he would have his like laptop bag and a grocery store bag of celery sticking out of it and then eat it throughout the day.
Yeah, you told me about that once.
I would imagine
Idiot.
everybody heard it too.
Oh yeah, phone calls or meetings or whatever, just crunching away.
Yeah, celery.
God, that's just
Mel
bizarre
Blanc,
behavior.
Bugs
behavior.
Bunny crunching away.
And when people like they're all happy to see a stalk of celery sticking in their Bloody Mary. The only reason why it's in there is it takes up room. They put in less liquor
There you go.
and everything, all the other mixer. It's a volume consumer.
That's right.
People see it. Oh, look at that stalk of celery. That looks great. It's like, yeah, terrific. You're getting shortchanged on the booze and the mixer.
If you've ever thought that, you deserve to be 300 kicked off of a cliff. We don't need you anymore.
Maybe it absorbs something.
No,
We don't need you.
Stop with the absorption
Yeah.
assumption. That was his take on the soup. It's like
Well, I mean, that's the
I'm getting
excuse. I don't want it either.
I'm getting the flavor from the surrounding ingredients. I don't need it to be soaked up by the fucking celery in my soup.
No, I'm with you. I don't want it either.
Ridiculous.
What about like a pot roast?
Why would it be in there?
I don't know.
Nick, we don't want it anywhere. I think that's what we're getting
Nowhere,
at.
huh?
Yeah, it serves no purpose in anything that I could think of. With ants on a log. Out of here with that.
That's the
Came
dumbest.
up with that.
No, that's a frightening treat.
That's the dumbest.
Christ. Again, peanut butter, fine on its own. Raisins, fine on their own. You don't need the fucking celery. It ruins it.
No. There's a better version. I mean, I'm just thinking from youth, like you'd be at some kid's house and his parents would make that. I would never touch ants on a log. But if it was a pretzel rod with peanut butter and chocolate chips,
absolutely.
I'm eating it.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
That's better.
so
Plus, a pretzel rod actually looks like a log.
Yeah.
A stalk of celery doesn't look like anything but a stalk of celery.
And a pretzel
And
log
nobody
doesn't
wants
taste like
that.
shit either.
Well, exactly.
You were at someone's
Terrible.
house and they made you ants on a log?
Yes.
I trust you never went back there ever again.
Well, I just ignored it. I went back there many times.
Just pretended like you didn't see it.
I said, bring out the pretzel ones next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Celery.
I'll let the
Outta
bozo
here.
kids eat this warm-up ants
Celery
on a log.
is the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Serves no purpose in anything. What about a pot roast? What's next? What about on top of a New York strip? Wouldn't that be good too? No, it wouldn't. It sucks
good
in
anywhere.
everything.
It's not good anywhere. What about a barbecued lemonade?
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, look at that stalk of celery in my barbecued lemonade. That looks great. That's because they want to serve you less barbecued lemonade.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not much to go around.
Worst.
Well, yeah, no celery in this.
All right, well, I'm excited to eat it.
It's
So what else is in here? I'm afraid
So-
to touch it because I don't want to get. I've got some equipment
Yeah.
here in case.
I mean, I would
You
say
going
if you open the bag and just like maneuver a little bit outside of the bag and take a bite, you should be fine. But it's
Jimmy it up through the bag
It's a-
and bite it at the top of the Ziploc.
it's a caramel apple bark.
yeah.
Okay.
So
all right.
it's got and the
Interesting.
caramel sauce got I think it mixed with the apple slices and got a little bit runny, unfortunately.
Well, caramel apples are supposed to be kind of sloppy. A little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah.
to be
And-
legit.
So this is like it's just chocolate. You put pretzels in them,
Okay.
or pretzels in the melted chocolate layer. Then mix caramel with peanuts and Granny Smith. Dump it on there. Put a little bit more chocolate on top.
Yeah, that'll work.
There you have it.
Thank you, Nick.
I tried
Yeah.
some. It's good, but yeah, it's a little messy.
But I have to wait on this one. But looks good. As long as it's can be assured it's not celery. It's good.
No celery in there. We're safe. We're safe.
No, that would have to be like one of those 1950s Jello mold desserts where you start incorporating celery, like where you've got the the lime Jello with the cubed chicken inside of it.
What is with people eating that crap?
It's fucking weird, man.
I don't think you see it much anymore, but Nick sent me a picture the other day. It was, I don't know what
that
was the Jello flavored with something?
But it was like a tangerine Jello or something.
Yeah.
But then it had shredded carrots in it,
carrot.
and it looked like a pumpkin.
No.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
I don't know why you would eat
This is
that.
wrong. You don't put meat in Jello either. Should be
No.
a fruit is acceptable. Other than that,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not big on Jello, period.
Me neither.
And Jello with bananas goes right in the garbage. If someone says that to
I've
me.
never even seen that.
Our
yeah.
dad used to make that.
I used to take it downstairs.
Cherry Jello?
Yeah, it was cherry Jello.
With
I
sliced
believe
up
he
banana?
referred to it as the real deal dessert.
If it was a plain one, I'd eat it. If it was one with bananas, out of guilt, I would take it and then I'd dump it in the garbage can. In another
Bananas
room.
in the gelatin?
In the
I've
yeah.
never seen that either.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I like bananas. I like the Jello. I didn't like it together. I didn't want it. Went in the garbage. Sorry, Dad. Sorry to waste food like that. But
The real deal.
oh man. All right. Well,
Whose turn is it?
it's mine. It's my turn.
Do you know what you're picking yet?
I don't know.
Still don't know.
I don't know.
You
Nick.
might want to figure it out soon.
I need to look at my phone. Do I have anything on here? I don't know. We'll see. I've got a Halloween.
Shot you a suggestion earlier.
You did. You
Make
did.
for a good episode, I'm telling you.
I've got some ideas, and I know what I'm gonna pick now.
Okay.
It's official, but so many good ones to choose from. So one more time, Chris, what are the qualifications or characteristics that this song is supposed to have?
Weird, scary, or what? Damn, I completely forgot already. Look for it.
Bizarre.
No.
No bizarre.
Off-putting.
No.
Off-putting would be correct with.
Making.
I mean,
Some of
they
them.
all apply, but it's not the official terminology. Weird, scary, or creepy.
creepy.
Weird, scary, or creepy.
Yes.
So this can be interpreted different ways.
Of course it can. And ultimately, it's how we choose to interpret
Right.
it. We got a little static for the first selection of the week. Fuck off. It's our show. We make the rules and we establish the definitions, and that's that.
Yeah. So it was Chris's choice. He went with Queen's Get Down, Make Love. Definitely the music, listening to that song brings all of those descriptors into play. So
At the very least, weird. If you can't
yeah.
detect that in that song, you're just being an asshole.
So I'm going to go in a different direction, interpreting the rules in a different way.
Okay.
I had a lot to choose from, back and forth, and I thought, this isn't going to come up on the list, and I don't think it'll ever come up any other way, but I think it'll be enjoyable. But who knows? I've been wrong many times before of what people will enjoy or won't enjoy. So, without any further ado, let's turn the microphone over to Chris Jericho.
All right, Harold. This one's called
Change my mind.
Unprecedented.
What?
All right, Harold. This one's called
The Cat with Two Heads.
Off of
The Fury of the Aquabats.
by the band.
The Aquabats.
Ow!
Okay.
All right. I didn't think it would come up any other way. And why I said change my mind. I was ping-ponging between two songs on this album, and I wasn't sure until just now which one I was going to
Okay.
choose. It was between Attacked by Snakes and The Cat with Two Heads.
Attacked by Snakes being the Australian national anthem.
Yeah. So this is 1997, Chris, if you're playing along over there.
What was it?
1997.
That was this was the tour where we first saw them.
Yeah, we saw them at the House of Blues with Real Big Fish.
And some other band performing before them. I don't remember. Nothing ever came of them, right?
Yeah, it was Kara's Flowers, who became Maroon 5, was the opening act.
Oh,
in
you saw
97.
them, really?
Yeah, way back when. Yep, House of Blues. That's where we're introduced to this band. So 25 years. It was. I remember it was
wow, yeah.
September of '97. We saw them at the House of Blues.
Yeah.
So yeah, just crossed over the 25-year fan of being unofficial Aqua Cadets. Nick and I. So
Now, what drove you to go see this?
we were
band?
real big Fish fans, and they were coming to town, so we went to that.
And the Aquabats, I dare say, might have stolen the show.
Yeah, you could say.
And not to say Real Big Fish wasn't great. I've seen them twice over
Yeah.
the years
Okay.
and looked up footage, from every once in a while. Always a great live band. But I don't know. The Aquabats were one of the
Special.
most fun. It's just a fun concert experience.
Yeah. For those unfamiliar, it's one of those things where they're throwing a lot at you as far as costuming and thematic. There's video screens. I don't think there were video screens in '97, but there's weird interstitial commercials and things, and there's just a lot going on. It's like it's a different world.
Yeah, it's
that they're
a little
putting on the stage.
kind of Weird Al-ish in the presentation. They're not doing song parodies really.
No.
but as far as the presentation with the multimedia stuff and
Tons of effort.
a lot of Devo, right?
A lot of Devo. Yeah.
influence.
I would say Devo would probably be the biggest influence, I'm guessing.
as far as I could tell.
And then like that 80s Southern California punk rock mixed with ska.
And I guess to tie it to somebody else who's another tabloid celebrity currently, who's playing drums on this album?
That's right. It's Travis Barker
There you
playing
go.
drums on this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Travis Barker, pre-Blink-182, playing in this band.
Now, was he on stage when you saw them?
Yeah, I want to say yes.
Was he that first time?
I think so. We should double check
I
that,
don't
but
remember.
I don't think we would know. We didn't know who he was.
I don't remember ever thinking back and thinking that it was him at that time, but I guess it could have been.
That should have been, because the album wasn't out yet, and he's on the album. I think they were in the
Okay,
midst of
well.
either recording it or it was about to come out.
Quite possibly.
So yeah, he was the mercenary in the band at the time. I believe that's how it was phrased even then, that he was going to do it, but he was a mercenary.
He was looking looking for the next thing.
If it was going to take off, he was going to stay. If it wasn't, he was going to go to the next thing and become who he became. But yeah. So I don't know what else to say. 97 was a big release, and then I don't know. I think they had one more. It was Golden Voice Records, which was a major label that didn't last long. 2 albums on that label, and then I think the label fizzled out, and that was kind of the end.
Yeah, but their defining album, I would say, is the next one.
You think so?
Because that's where
The Floating Eye of Death?
stylistically, that's where they settled,
Okay.
I would say.
That would be where they crank it up to more Devo.
Yeah, and that's
More
where
synth
they
stuff.
stayed, I think, up
Okay.
to this point,
Okay.
as far as their style goes. They weren't as ska punk
All right.
as it. The first 2 albums were their ska punk stuff, and then they got a little more Devo influenced.
Okay. That's fair. I'll go along with that. But anyway, we got I think it's 8 guys in the band, 2 guitars, bunch of horns, keyboard player. There's a lot going on here. So
Chris, how did you feel about the whole ska punk?
I was completely off my radar. I had no
Yeah.
interest
I mean, it
or
was-
awareness of any of it.
It was everywhere, but you just didn't pay attention to anything in particular.
You could have fooled me. It was
Really?
everywhere.
I mean,
had
it
no
was-
clue what was going on.
Yeah.
the thing was, it was like 2 years, and then it was kind of like
Well, but every single commercial
yeah.
was like everything sounded like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Well, I was aware of them, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and I when the ska thing became a pop culture phenomenon, I chalked it up to being connected to No Doubt's popularity.
I'm sure it was all
Yeah.
connected.
That Southern California.
But yeah,
thing.
the Boss Tones, I sold when I worked at Guitar Center. I sold their bass player one of those Ampeg 810
Oh, really?
cabinets. Yeah,
That's strange that you'd be. I guess things happen, but you'd be on the road and you have to buy an 810 cabinet, not like strings or something, but yeah.
I didn't ask why they needed it.
I know. I'm just thinking it's odd to be like, hey, here we are in the middle of the country.
Yeah, who knows
buy
what the circumstances
I've got to buy
were.
a stack.
Yeah, no, they came in, cool guys.
That's cool.
Now that you said this album came out in 1997.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I've taken the 1 off of that for the year 997 and hit it.
Habemus Papa.
Time for Pope stuff. Yeah, that Pope stuff. Here's some Pope stuff. Time for Pope stuff.
All right, so this is looking a little familiar to me. I don't think we did this year before, but maybe we did. But it seems like a similar scenario to something we've pointed out before. But I'm going to just cut into it and see what you think. Spring of the year 997. Pope Gregory V is exiled during a rebellion led by Crescentius II. The patrician and de facto ruler of Rome. The Crescenti family appoints Giovanni Filigato, former tutor of King Otto III, as an anti-pope under the name John 16 or 17 until 998.
Wow. All sorts of people relocating, being forced out back then.
Exiling,
All sorts of
anti-poping. I mean, it's just very strange.
Running
that
rampant.
whole, dynamic with the... You don't like the Pope? Okay, there's an anti-Pope. And then people just go about their business.
Yeah, all these Italian families messing with each other back then, trying to get their guy in there.
Some things never change, huh?
What a petulant nationality the Italians are. I mean, Jesus. Fuck, man. Roll with the punches. Try instead of, doing the shit that you've done for centuries. Man, a bunch of weirdos. Anti-Pope. Out of here.
I never knew about the anti-pope until we talked about it.
The anti-pope is the celery of the papacy, basically. It's completely unnecessary. Anybody who resorts to it is an ass clown. That's it. There you go. Pope
right.
stuff for this week.
Okay.
All right.
People are, in fact, clamoring for it. So,
All right. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with The Cat with Two Heads.
This era is always marked, for me at least, by very tightly tuned snare drums.
That's a
oh yeah, the piccolo snare, if you will.
Yep. That whole drum set is tuned pretty tight.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like toys somehow. Like the rack tom sounds very tightly tuned as well.
And I remember we knew a guy who had a set like that with a smaller snare drum that was tuned very tightly.
Yep.
And I remember it was fun to play because it was just a different sound.
Mm-hmm.
But in retrospect, it faded away from popularity, and it has become a dated thing, at least in my mind.
The right tool for the right job, depending what you're doing.
Nothing against it, but it's just it's not something you'd hear on a recording today.
No, probably not. But depends what you're playing.
What's old becomes new again.
Yeah.
It might come around the bend,
Yep, but some good surf tone here at the beginning on the guitar.
Yeah, I'm getting a B-52s vibe almost from it.
That's true. Very much so.
That's another influence, I would guess.
Science brings gifts of convenience to the modern man. Modern man then continues to expand. But what happens when man creates something oh so wrong? Nature bites back in a big way. Good heavens, what have I done?
Lot going on.
Yeah. Very frantic.
Yeah, and very how would you say, theatrical sort of a delivery. Yeah, a lot of vibrato and exaggerated sort of emergency in his delivery.
Yep.
Very, I mean, I can hear, particularly in the vocals, I can hear where there's a Devo influence.
Definitely.
Musically, I'd say this is probably, and it's probably got a lot to do with Travis Barker being on drums, but it's probably their most technical musically.
Yeah.
This album,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would say so. The most technically skilled sounding.
And they've got the 2 guitar players still, because I think the band's a 5-piece now, but at this point it was either 8 or 9. I forgot.
Well, and they had a few horn players back then, and now they've just got
they've got
Jimmy the Robot, who does 1 horn or a keyboard or a guitar.
Yep. But I also like the so one guitar is playing like the upstroke ska chords, and the other guitar is playing those, I don't even know, I mean, I'm just going to guess they're minor chords, but there might be more to them than that, where it's just like on the ones. But yeah, add some weirdness to it, considering what the song is about. Some kind of science experiment going wrong.
We're going to get a lyric here that coming up.
Uh-oh.
That's profoundly silly.
Okay, perfect.
I kept it in a box. I watched it grow on. It chewed right through the rock and ate all the new kids on the block. A scientist creates a beast in a secret laboratory. Nature plots revenge with what it seeks. That's where we begin our story. The cat with 2 heads. Whoa, the cat with 2 heads. The cat with 2 heads. Whoa.
So the rim clicks on the drum that took me back to
that era.
Yeah. The really rapid sort of doing the rim clicks instead of the full-on snare hits for a little portion there. Another thing that was big in this style of music at that point.
Time capsule. But yeah, cool. And he's doing a lot. I mean, I'm sure he has free reign to do whatever he wants on the drums, and he's just
I mean, no one's
going wild.
If you're playing like this, no one's gonna sit you down and say no.
Yeah,
do something different.
Right.
So, Chris, did you get the most silly lyric? Did that come through?
I didn't pick up on it. No.
It was. I watched it grow a lot. It chewed right through the lock. Oh no, I kept it in a box. I watched it grow a lot. Chewed right through the lock. It ate all the new kids on the block.
Oh, I did hear that. I didn't hear how it blended in with everything else, but I did notice that.
I don't know why in '97 the new kids on the block were a target, but
I think that it's one of those things where it rhymed and it probably made someone giggle. And that's
Yeah,
exactly
that's
what
true.
they were going for. You know, I don't think Aquabats were overthinking lyrics. I think it was, that's dumb and making us laugh. Let's just run with it. You know, a thing I didn't realize about this band that I figured out later, I didn't realize at the time, but that part of their formation or whatever, like the presentation that they had where it's almost they're like these faux superheroes and they're like, hey, kids, you know, like that whole thing. That part of that was because where they were based out of, it was when there was still like the violent, like, you know, like the 80s into the 90s violent punk concerts where people took it like really serious. And they were almost like heels trying to irritate the audience at the time. And then but
Yeah.
once you get fans, it becomes something else. But like when you're just at a show with a bunch of bands like that and you're doing something different and they hate you, then you're egging them on and acting like that to try to.
So that's where the flying errands
Dude,
got that
like
from.
75% of it was pretty much
I would say closer to 99% of it had witnessed it. but-
Yeah.
Well, and
I mean, of the whole act, yeah.
so we saw them a few years after this, and they opened for the Vandals,
There you go.
a fairly serious punk band.
Yeah.
And I remember them getting booed
Case in point.
sometime by a few of the audience members. They were getting heckled, and I remember him I remember the singer laying into them, talking about how there were these guys that had these scary chain wallets, and he was picking on the fashion at that point that they had. So it was almost Fear-esque, but just not.
Sure, Fear was a big part of.
He was antagonizing the audience, but not doing it in a completely obscene, vulgar way, like Fear would have done.
Yeah, it wasn't just trying to start a fight or
but
calling them gay or whatever. Fear was doing at the time.
getting going right at them.
Yeah.
But knowing
show.
which buttons to push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was definitely part of it.
Brought education to this privileged man. High school
Oh, hold on. There's a nasty drum fill coming up right here.
diploma, science major with a government grant. 4 years later, an experiment to mutate.
Quick hands on that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he plays about twice this, or he played about twice as fast as this recording, I would say, during live performances.
Absurd, yeah.
And speaking of live performances, it reminds me, I don't know if you can see Andy. I think you can on their live compilation video they came out with years ago. I know our friend of the show often mentioned Brian Snyder.
Yeah.
You can see him for a second, and the singer, Bat Commander, is wearing Brian's University of Kentucky hat for most of one of the songs. He took it off his head and put it on, and it's in the video.
That's right.
Was he wearing his belt too at any point, or
He was beating villains with it. That came on the stage.
and his Kentucky hat flew off during one of the, one of his belt strikes to some random guy in the venue, and the singer grabbed the hat, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah.
Domestic pets. It turned into a nightmare, so lock your doors, hide your hot dogs. This cat's upset, I kept it in a box. I watched it grow a lot. It chewed right through the rock.
Now, I mentioned B-52s before. That's kind of almost entirely my frame of reference to this style of music, which you wouldn't really call B-52s a ska band, but
No, but
just sort of the
other
approach.
elements, yeah.
But what I'm saying is I'm hearing tones of Fred Schneider's vocal style in this. There's the hint of the backing vocals almost are similar to what Kate and Cindy would do in B-52s. And then another band that we've featured on the show that I'm not super familiar with, but the song we featured, I'm hearing elements of that vocal style. I'm talking about Danny Elfman and Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure all of those are part of the.
I'm not
the
hearing it. I'm not hearing the Devo
I think that might be in other
influence.
recordings.
Yeah,
later.
I'm not hearing it in
the
this.
next album, it's definitely more Devo influence. But yeah, since toward the beginning when Chris mentioned the B-52s, it never occurred to me, but I totally hear the B-52s. And thinking about a few other songs, I can hear that too. Just never
thought about
never heard that connection before. Never occurred to me.
All the new kids on the block. Society has been so good to me. My parents paid for my college education, majoring in biotechnology. Created a beast and now it's after me. I was in my laboratory, creating what I thought would be, well, something great for the world. A two-headed cat. You could pet one kitty's head and pet the other kitty's head. But little did I know the power of atomic energy would create a two-headed mini monster!
They always were, I imagine still are. I haven't heard any of their really new stuff, but they're always a band.
They're still together.
Yeah.
They were not for a while.
And then they
And
came
then
back
they-
with a TV show, which my kids love.
And see, that's what I was thinking. When you first mentioned, I was like, this is like the Teletubbies, right? You know, I was like, this is shit that kids listen to. And then you started mentioning the history of the band. I'm like, oh, I must have that mixed up with something. But it's the same thing, is what you're telling me.
Here's what happened. It was what we said, and then I think the band fizzled out, and then the singer and I'm not sure how many of the other guys in the actual band were like the creators, but there's a kids show called Yo Gabba Gabba
Yeah.
that they created.
It was very popular.
And it was like a big show,
Yeah.
Toys and Target. You know, it was on for a few years. And then after that, they revived the band and made a show, like trying to, all right, we got this TV production thing rolling. Let's do this kids show about the band. And then they did that for, 2 seasons or something? And then had a couple more albums after that. That probably, not that this stuff is like profane in any way, but I don't think that these first few albums are like targeted towards children, but I think maybe the later ones are more on the fence.
It's kind of both. It's kind of where it's kid friendly, but at the same time it's weird where adults can appreciate it.
But I think that's where they found their sweet spot, especially with probably making money, which is ultimately what everyone's trying to do.
And I think it was right before COVID hit. I think COVID might have derailed a sort of a TV comeback that they had going. I don't know if you remember, they came out with a series of videos
where they had all the like celebrities.
Yeah, they had like Jack Black in it, and I know Travis Barker was back in it, but
the Imagine Dragons. Weird Al.
Yeah, they had a bunch of known people like that, and they were campaigning. It seemed like
to bring it
like
back.
They were coming back. Like I think they had a GoFundMe going that they wanted to get the TV show going, and they always have cool merchandise. Actually, so
like what would constitute a cool piece of merchandise?
Well, like their outfits are like surf gear.
Yeah,
and you could buy like the surf shirts. They had like these helmets, and I remember like one of my kids had one of the.
I have a picture
one of the
of
helmets.
Your son wearing one.
Yeah, and like I still have, and this was like in the late '90s or early 2000s when I got this. I still have they have a little mascot, a little bat guy, and it's a stress ball shaped like him. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking like, how do you get that manufactured?
You know, that's the other thing. You have to remember that this was like basically like a DIY project too. So it was, when you're mixed in with that scene of bands who either have a sticker, a patch, or a shirt, and then these guys have like surf outfits and skateboards and
coloring books.
Yeah, like all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah.
Which I
they're
still
outside
have,
the box.
I still have a drawing that the singer did of himself inside of the coloring book.
Like an autograph.
Yeah.
There's this band in the 90s in Chicago called the Cocktails. Did you ever hear of them?
No.
Mm-hmm. My wife had a poster of them in her room.
Yeah, because
childhood room.
Because they had, they were like a, I mean, they played around everywhere, but they were like a fixture at lounge acts. Okay. And I know they had their own dolls, and like that band was the first band I saw noticed that it was on somewhat the same level that we are, but they were just like, how are they funding all this merchandise, and where are they coming up with all this stuff?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought the first time I saw the Aquabats, because they came out and they had like set pieces. You know, every other band's just coming out with their gear and they're plugging it in and they're playing at that level. These guys have set pieces. They've got different costumes that they wear to set up the gear. Remember, it was like lab coats with beards and berets.
Yeah.
And they're like these science guys.
Well, and that's a crazy thing. I'll loop it back around to my experience with the Boss Tones when they came into Guitar Center. But you said this is an 8-piece band.
Yeah.
That was the thing with the fucking Boss Tones. It's like they all came rolling in. There was like 10 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them were crew, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was thinking is like, how the fuck do they transport all these guys around? They're in.
And then how do they split the money and
Yeah.
eat at that level?
And how do you fit an Ampeg 810 cabinet amidst all these people? It's just like, it was fascinating.
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, it must cost a lot to take the show on the road, and then you add all this costume changes and merchandise.
And then the other
It's
thing that
insane.
these guys would do, they'd have people, I'm sure, like you said, crew guys come out in these almost like mascot costumes. You know, like full-size mask, like that they made somehow.
Yeah, it's kind
That
of
were original characters.
It's kind of like Guar in a sense.
Yeah, but like not, not the blood spewing.
Yeah,
thing,
but
like
but
a
it's-
similar production where there's so much going on.
Yeah.
You can't. And and like I said, it's like a DIY thing, and every other band's just up there and what they were wearing.
Right.
And there's no.
And maybe they had like a 7-inch record for sale.
Yeah,
like that was
that was it.
the most complex piece of merchandise. Otherwise,
Yeah, so I found that admirable.
yeah, it was the
yeah.
effort,
Yeah.
the extra stuff.
Yeah, it's just like you realize like when you're doing what the regular band is doing, and that's hard enough to make happen and have everything synced up and have it work right, and then you look at these other guys and they got a million things going on. It's like, the fuck are they doing it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And that'll do it. Right at the 3-minute mark. Cat with Two Heads.
A long song for them at this point.
Yeah, well,
To break
301
to break 3 minutes, right? No,
because we got 303,
It's like
324, 341.
Oh, okay. Well, weren't they one of those bands that around this time period they crammed a lot of songs onto a CD?
Oh, yeah, this is 16.
Yeah.
It's 52 minutes. So that's a lot. And then the one after was 47 minutes. But yeah, this is not a 8 or 9 song situation.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I brought it to the show. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to vote first, and I'm going to give it a Sweet Surrender.
It's sweet surrender. Hell yes.
Had a lot of ideas for what to bring to the show. Ultimately, I was like, I'm just going to go with something that I enjoy that I don't think will ever come up for any other reason. So, selfish means were what went into this decision this week. But, always loved this album. Came out when I was, I guess, I would have been 14. I got it, I think, for Christmas that year. And still fire it up every now and again.
So you discovered them when you saw them with Real Big Fish.
Yeah. And at that time, this album was not out. I think it came out a couple months after that.
Oh, okay.
But, they were playing these songs, and then they had, I don't know, more of a self-produced album out at the time.
I think,
Not as big budget sounding.
I think we were in Indianapolis when I saw this album for sale and got it for you for Christmas.
Oh, for like a hockey tournament or
I
something?
think so.
That sounds
just
familiar.
just jarred loose a memory there.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds right. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how many of our listeners are into stuff like this. But if you are, you should check it out because there's a lot of interesting instrumentation throughout the album, even if this wasn't your bag. And on the next couple as well, there's a lot of creative playing, I think. So, check it out. Unless you're a dork, then don't check it out. Continue being a dork.
Lashing out at people.
Well, just preemptive strike for, not picking what we were supposed to pick.
I'll give it a sweet surrender as well.
Oh.
sweet, sweet surrender.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I mean this album was pretty big for Andy and I.
Yeah.
I listened to it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad our buddy Pat's not on the episode. He would concur.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's a big fan of this album. And to kind of continue on where Andy left off, musically speaking, and lyrically too, it's a band that it can be surprising at times.
Mm-hmm.
And the arrangements can be pretty sophisticated, really,
Yeah.
even though it comes off as kind of a silly thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not stupid. It's not like untalented.
No, and it's
stupidity.
very well produced.
Yeah.
Some of these, a lot of the ska punk stuff was kind of, you could tell, kind of self-produced back then.
Yeah.
But some of the bands, like you've got like your Goldfinger.
Goldfinger was a big label. It's like
the-
Maverick, I
like
think.
the Suicide Machine's first album. Like
Hollywood.
a few bands busted through to the point where they were able to get like really great production on the albums.
Yeah.
And it really worked.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say that MU330 album was it Chumps on Parade.
Yeah.
Great production, great album. So there was some good stuff of this ilk back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun era. Didn't last too long, but
No. That was a weird thing. We probably talked about this before in some capacity, but like it was this thing. We were teenagers, and this was the current, and we're like, "Oh, this is cool. This is a fun world." You know, that this genre or scene or whatever you want to call it. And then it was very quickly where it was like people from that world
yes.
were just like, "That's not cool anymore. We don't like
And-
that. We don't
yeah.
we don't play music like that anymore." And it was very strange.
And
where it was
that's-
like frowned upon.
That's the reason I stopped caring about any sort of scene like that.
Yeah,
Where I was like, there's no such thing as.
There was
I've said this a few times. There's really no such thing as punk rock.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a subgenre of rock.
Yeah.
Same sort of popularity contest, just on a smaller scale.
And there was like
Same
cool
sort of-
police that were
Yeah,
out
exactly.
to make you feel bad.
There
or
were some
whatever for what
prominent
you liked.
bands that would change, and then everybody changed with them.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. It's just on a smaller scale.
Bunch of dorks.
And that
There's one punk rock album that's Nevermind the Bollocks. Everything else is something else. It was
Yeah.
one punk rock album in the history of the world.
you could probably that argument could be made
Yeah.
because there's other great stuff that's in that category. I mean, like Ramones, but you could argue that they're not even a punk band. You could say they're power pop
the
or whatever.
aesthetic was, closer to Motorhead than anything else.
yeah.
But yeah, it's all nonsense. And then when you add, like you said, the cool police, and
Yeah.
it just gets silly at that
Go to the
point.
fireside bowl and everyone's passing out literature about not eating McDonald's and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like I want to be friends with these people. I want to have fun, not be bummed out by
Well, exactly.
these college freshmen who are trying to
I mean,
convince everyone what to do, make you follow
but
the
it's
rules.
it's like anything else. It's people trying to force their beliefs on you. It's like if you're, I'm here for a reason. Don't rain on my parade.
Yeah.
It's like, is that what you're here to do?
Yes.
Make sure none of these people show up to the fireside bowl ever again.
Pretty
Get
much.
out of here.
That's
You have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
So pathetic.
Yeah.
Not cool at all.
yeah.
unlike the one band that sticks out that did not care that we saw at the Fireside Bowl. I just want to mention them.
Uh-oh.
Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, that guy was a maniac.
Absolute maniac.
Guy pulls wiener out.
A fun, just
Goof.
ridiculous presentation with that band. Did not care about the social agendas going on with other bands. But as back to the Aquabats, I don't listen to them that much, but have remained a fan ever since. I have a Christmas. It's just it's a shirt, thin shirt. It's not an actual sweater, but it looks like an ugly Christmas sweater.
Okay, yeah.
And this was from years ago. This was before everybody had an ugly Christmas sweater, including Pot of Thunder. like long before that.
They were trailblazers in that world.
Yeah. And it just great stuff, fun band, all good. So I'll pass it over.
Chris?
Yeah, I gotta kick it, man.
It's a humiliating kick in the crotch!
100% in agreement with what Nick was saying about how the production is fantastic, at least on albums of this level. I couldn't comment on any self-produced stuff. I've never really heard it. And you have to be able to play, obviously. You have to have some talent and skill and have put in some work to be able to drum like that, to play horns like that, to play any instrument at that tempo, guitar included. But just this style of music, it doesn't fire a single one of my pleasure centers. It just doesn't. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, that's honest.
It's just like I don't. It doesn't do anything for me in terms of it generating any visceral pleasure. It's just not happening.
Well, there you have it. If you disagree, we're sorry.
That's just the fucking way it is.
There you go. Cat with two heads didn't make it. We'll find out what Nick's choice will be next week, right? Is it Nick's choice or is it Chris's again?
No, it's Nick.
It's Nick's. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the list. I issued the...
Oh yeah,
I
how's
threw
that
down the
going?
gauntlet. There's some good ones. I was pleased to see that there were quite a few submissions, like even the first day
So your
that the previous episode came out.
Your rule was it had to be added to the list on potofthunder.com. A suggestion starting Monday, October 3rd, and you will choose it what day?
I think the
10th or 12th or something?
Yeah, the 12th, 13th maybe.
Depending when we record that.
Yeah, basically
Right.
up until the next recording session. So,
But people have added a lot, right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and there have been some really good ones. I wanted to thank everybody for doing it. I
Look at
unfortunately,
the power Nick has over
I know.
the listener.
Unfortunately, I can
Days.
only pick one, so I hate to disappoint that many
Well,
people. But we'll see. There's a front runner right now,
If
but there's still time.
let me put it to you this way. If you're a listener to this show and you're not used to being disappointed yet, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
If there's anybody in the world you can disappoint and not even think twice about it, it's a listener of this program.
But there's, all the way to the right of our spreadsheet, we've got people stating their cases for each.
There's a comment
song.
section, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
people go through the trouble of really getting into it. And, And I hate to disappoint all but one person.
I wanted to win
But I'm
that
going
$1 billion jackpot in the Powerball.
go.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, well.
I stated my case. The lady who was selling the lottery ticket, she didn't give a fuck. So there you have it.
There you have it. But hey, all those songs stay in the listener submission list.
True.
They don't get
That's
blown
very
away, so
true.
they could pop up any month. But it's just a
You
special.
could revisit it next Spooktober.
Yeah, or some songs that we've pulled from the list could probably fit into this category. Any time of year.
Yeah.
So, it's not all for
Right.
nothing. They'll be there. I wanted to give a quick shout out and thank you to our friend and listener. His name's Kyle Hildreth. Overkill Art. He sent me this shirt based on a conversation we had on Pot of Thunder on the April Wine episode.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice you were wearing
Yeah,
that.
and it says,
That's
I
great.
like it, you like it. I'll take a picture and we can post it on our Instagram and Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I guess I
So
made a comment.
he created the design that's on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I made a comment during the episode because we laughed at the lyric, I like it, you like it. And I made a comment that said, I'd wear that on a shirt. And he thought it was funny. So he designed it and sent it to me. So
Look
thank
at
you
the
so
power you have over the listeners.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah. So thank you,
I like
Kyle.
it.
I
Yeah, it's
appreciate
very well done.
I like it, you like
and
it.
Again, it's a conversation starter,
Yeah.
that kind of slogan.
And that could have been if it were the type like one of those sparkly iron-ons. That logo would be in the 1970s.
Oh yeah,
Could've
yeah,
had
that
one
would
of
have been
those.
on the wall at my local arcade when I was a kid. That was one of the things they had. It was arcade, ice cream shop, and silkscreen T-shirt area over in the corner.
So
and
you
the
would
whole
pick a
wall-
design and they would like iron it on or whatever?
The whole
So-
wall was covered in designs. I mean, they must have had a couple hundred of them.
Did you ever pick any out?
I got a Bob Seger in the Silver Bullet Band one on a
Okay.
T-shirt.
Was it all bands or was it everything?
No, it was anything.
Like
you could,
G.I. Joe or whatever, like anything pop culture was up there, or phrases, astrological
Yeah.
signs.
I was just gonna
Right.
say.
but there were glittery
Sagittarius.
designs and stuff, and
What is Sagittarius? Animal or whatever? What is
the Minotaur
Okay, yeah, sparkly Minotaur.
with the arrow. Yeah.
That's nice. All right. Oh, and you know what? Since we're talking about great T-shirt designs, should we do it?
I guess we have to.
We've talked about it. Should we release a
Andy's-
T-shirt based on private conversations that we've had with each other?
Well,
Should I do?
there's
I
no
think you
there's no
already did.
reason not to. It's just but in terms of like I if anybody who buys one and wears it in public, I need to see proof that you did it, because these are, I like it, you like it, you could wear it out. It's
Yeah,
intriguing.
no one's going to question it. Yeah.
You wear this, what I think you're talking about out in public, you have my respect.
Born from a Chris ad lib. Let's hear it now. Here we go.
Can I play with titties? The pervert stared at his hairy ball. Can I play with titties? From this creep, she'll take it all. Can I play with titties? She saw my prick and she laughed at me. Ha! Can I play with titties? She said, these tits you'll never see.
Ah, there it is. So, will the Can I Play with Titties Iron Maiden Eddie T-shirt ever go to market? We'll see. It depends. You know, you
Maybe
mentioned...
we'll gauge the reaction to the thought of it, see what happens. It would be a nice thing to put up before the holidays, that's for sure.
That's true. You know, get the man in your life what he really wants. The Can I Play with Titties T-shirt.
And I just want to mention that 2 sets of those lyrics that you just heard were written by Andy.
It's true.
So
I was on a
it
roll.
was a collaborative
It was.
effort.
The more disgusting ones were written by me. Chris contributed the more uplifting, inspirational lyrics of the set.
Well, and then the one is a holdover from
Yeah.
the original Big Thropper release.
Yeah. But thank you to our friend Tommy Lombardozzi for sending that in. His buddy Rich Martin took Chris recording that into his phone as a joke and sending it to us, and laid it onto the Iron Maiden recording of Can I Play with Madness. So thanks to Tommy and Rich for sending that in. Appreciate it. That's going to have to become a staple. Do you want it, though? Let us know. Do you want it? Are you going to buy it? Will this go to market? I don't know.
I will say though that there's been a what's the word for something? You put it together before it goes out into market. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. Oh fuck! What's that word? We've used it before.
It's been a while. I don't think we have it anymore. Prototype.
Okay, you don't have it anymore.
I don't think so. I think it's on the old
Did
computer.
you throw the old computer in the lake?
Pretty much. I need to transfer
Well,
everything.
that's a
from
tragedy. We need to
Season
get that
1.
back. But saw a prototype of the design, and I gotta admit, Andy cleaned up the image nicely. It'll be a quality piece if it comes out.
Okay.
I'd like to, and since we go with T Public, I could see that being as popular, if not more so, on a coffee mug.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a good one. Take that to the office.
Yeah, that's true. I keep saying T-shirt. It could be on anything.
It's like, you go in the break room and like everybody's coffee cups are like in the sink, and you just you kind of look and you're like, oh, I wonder whose that is, and then Somebody's going to see the "Can I Play with Titties" coffee mug.
That'll
get you a trip to HR real quick.
I think that's one where you're on a video call and it's you don't realize it's visible right up front,
or you quickly drink from it, and people on the call are like, "Did that say what I think?"
And you turn it when you realize it.
What was that? Yeah, you could get it on. What else do they have? Laptop bag, sticker,
throw pillow, like my Jones Brothers bullshit.
Yeah.
Can I Play with Titties throw pillow would be outstanding.
I mean, pretty much all these things you could take to Panera for one reason or another.
When you set up your remote office at Panera.
You're there all day.
And interview people for whatever kind of scam you're running.
Yeah, exactly.
You ask them a question and then slam this mug down in front of them. See how they react. See if they've got the stuff.
Sell me this mug.
Yeah. Answer the question posed on this mug.
Yeah, so we'll see. Get enough of a reaction, enough inquiries. Maybe we'll share it with.
I mean,
the
we'll
world.
make it available in a T-shirt if people want it. But I think this will be better on some of the more quirky merchandise available on Cafe Press.
Yeah. All right.
Like dog bandanas. Is that one of them?
I hope so.
You walking at the park.
Yeah. That'd be great. Works for everything.
Yarmulkes, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, sometimes you see like a sports logo.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have like a more festive.
The Yankees logo in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, when it's not like.
How perfect would that be for a bar mitzvah, the coming of age ceremony? I mean, it's the perfect sentiment.
Yeah, if that exists.
Can you play with titties? You can now. You're a man today.
That's right. Finally, you've dreamt of this your whole life. All right.
Jesus.
Well, let's take a quick commercial break from a sponsor who definitely approves of that last segment. All right. You know what time it is, Nick? Your favorite time?
What?
Your favorite part of the show?
No idea.
I don't get yards of questions. Motherfucker, I give them.
Sing away.
Yes, Chief.
The most real sounding baseball strike I've ever heard.
That is good. Ooh. Looking at these yards of questions. I see one from today that is themed for this month. Ooh, I might pick with
like
them.
it.
But let me just quickly look. Okay.
I love that.
Oh, okay.
They didn't blow it at the end.
Oh, yeah. I don't. That's good. Yes. Oh boy.
Sounds like trouble.
No, it's good. Oh, they're all good. They're all good. It's just what we're in the mood for. What seems to go with what we've talked about. Jeez. Oh, I like this. All right, let me.
That's all
Between
you
these
need
two.
to hear. Go with your gut. On
Yeah, I'll save the other one for next week.
Ooh, okay.
I like this. These are quick. Not that they always need to be quick, but
quick is good. I mean, there's no downside to just cutting to the chase.
Yeah.
And getting to it.
So this week's Yardo Questions comes to us from Chris Fenn. Chris says, "Love the show, guys. Keep doing what you're doing." Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Question 1. What is the scariest thing you've ever attempted or done?
Scariest?
Scariest thing. You ever jump out of a plane?
No.
Ever attack a homeless person? I don't know.
I landed on one when I jumped out of the plane. So.
There you go.
Scariest thing you've ever done. Now, see, to me, this could be it figures in with the month, but I'm almost thinking it's like it's something where you maybe don't normally have the guts to go and do something, and then you go do it.
Yeah.
So it could be something as it
could be like
it's not knocking off a liquor store.
Sure.
It could be asking out a woman.
Yeah.
You know,
something you were or whatever, some kind of stage fright or whatever, depending what your situation is.
That's a good question. Scariest thing ever.
Oh man.
I'm glad this question's not for me. I've got nothing.
Yeah, this is a tough one. See, when I get nervous, my stomach starts to go crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of situations where my stomach went nuts. Because chances are that's a good indication.
If we could ask your toilet, they would have an answer for us.
Wow. Yeah.
Can we FaceTime Nick's toilet?
Yeah.
The only thing that's coming to mind, and it's somewhat fresh in my mind, and it's not something I intentionally set out to do, but I've gotten a pretty severe car accident when I was in, I want to say we were still in high school, and I was driving, both of my Greek buddies were in the car, and I was turning left at a traffic light, and it was one of those situations where it's green, it turns yellow, and you're like, and you're right at the intersection, so you're like, okay, I've got the right of way, I'm gonna turn. So I'm turning into the intersection. This guy comes flying from around. It was a 2-lane street, and he was coming up the left lane, so I didn't even see him because there was a row of cars in that lane. He came flying out from around it into the right lane because he wanted to beat the yellow light. And I turned right in front of him, and he blasted me right in the rear quarter panel. Which, if he had hit the front of the car, would have been
bad news.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But nobody was injured. But to be in a car accident of that severity is pretty shakes you up a bit.
Yeah.
So, although I'll say the coolest thing about that whole thing is that the made in Japan version of Highway Star was cranking on the stereo when that happened. So
wow,
it added a twinge of cool factor to it. But turning into that intersection and seeing those headlights come around and come right at the car scared shitless at that point.
Yeah. Nick, you got anything?
That almost makes me want to talk about that accident we got in.
Yeah, that could be it.
I guess I could do that because it was frightening to think how close. Well, I guess I'll just. Yeah, I can't. I mean, I've done stuff like gotten up in front of people, played music, and stuff like that, where a lot of times people would be really nervous, and I would have been nervous, but it didn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
But as far as scary experiences, I know one time Andy and I were in a car, and these guys were chasing us for no reason, and the guy got out, and then my friend's car died. The guy started getting out of the car, and I don't know how many other guys were in the car. We were driving around one night.
I don't remember
me
that.
And
I was
you
there?
and it was me and you and two of my buddies.
Huh.
And for whatever reason,
Dan.
yeah,
Dan.
Yeah, and the guy yelled out the window something at us, and we didn't, no idea.
Nothing.
And then
Like
just
wrong car.
Yeah, they were just following us. Guy got out. My buddy's car died. I'm like, do we have to get out and
to fight these
do
guys?
whatever we're supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Car started up, he got out of there, but that was one of them. I remember being, because I'm like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
This wasn't
that's
even
not fun.
this wasn't even a thing where I knew the situation.
Yeah.
It might have been a misunderstanding, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was one of them. I remember that, just the uncertainty of it, and what kind of crazy people are pursuing.
Yeah, I was
us.
taking off my seatbelt. I was going to kick all four of their asses for you, but then the car started up.
Yeah, well, good thing. But the on what to kind of go with what Chris said, I was probably 17, I think, and it was like Andy and I were going to the mall, and I had stopped to turn on a residential street instead of going to the main street that was the next block.
Yep.
So I stopped, and I'm going to make a left. As soon as I start to turn left, almost nothing happens to our car. Dink on the front bumper from the driver's side. Someone comes around us. Dink, the bumper falls off. This pickup truck goes on 2 wheels, squiggles around a little bit, lands on his side, slides almost into the intersection about like a half a block ahead of us. And Andy and I were just like, what happened?
Yeah,
it was like we were watching TV.
Yeah.
And similar to what Chris's thing was, where someone was trying to beat a light.
He was hauling ass and tried to go in the
a
other lanes around.
He went in oncoming traffic to
Yeah.
try to go around us to get to the light. Thankfully, barely hit us. Thankfully, I didn't turn that much, or else Andy would have been wearing me.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, because he would have nailed me.
If he T-boned you,
like
yeah.
a few inches of car door would have been between me and this truck.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty. It was frightening after the fact. It was surreal when it happened, because all of a sudden this truck is fishtailing and falling on I think he fell on the driver's side.
Yeah, it was on the driver's side.
Yeah, and just
That's how it was.
slid almost into the intersection.
And then Nick and I ran over there and beat the shit out of the guy.
And we flipped
I wonder
the car.
whatever happened
We
to him.
flipped the truck over, but we flipped it onto the
hood.
passenger
Yeah.
side.
No, I remember the dude opened the door and he was like, "Oh man, let's do that again." What did he say? Like, "I wish I had that on video." Or it was like some dumb
Something
comment.
weird,
Like,
yeah.
I guess you're okay.
Very nice guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, but it was like, oh, dude, that was crazy.
Like, yeah, you're telling us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, scary. Question 2. What's your favorite sports memory ever? Now, I don't know if that means with you playing or you watching. You can interpret
I guess
that
it could be
want.
either.
Yeah.
Sports or sports.
Favorite sports memory ever.
I can't think of one where I was playing, where I did anything.
You know what I liked when the game was over? You got the hot dog and the pop can.
There
That
was
nice.
I guess there was one. It's more of a funny, perhaps a bit of a lesson in it. There was I was playing soccer in grade school, and I always played defense.
Yeah.
So I never scored a goal, and I got put on offense, and ball came bouncing to me. Goalie's on the other side of the goal.
You're right.
I'm standing there. I kick it as hard as I can right over the goal. All I got,
You just had to
I could have
tap it
stood
in.
there and it could have bounced off of me and went in. Kicked it as hard as I could. So there's a lesson in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But as far as one that I remember watching, I'm gonna go with, I think it was '96. I want to say it was double overtime, Game 7, Red Wings Blues. Steve Yzerman from the blue line winds up over the goalies. I think Gretzky makes a mistake. He winds up, goes over the goalies.
Rangers?
I think it was.
The Blues.
Oh, Blues, sorry.
I think it was the glove side or stick side. I don't know. It was the opposite. He went opposite shoulder.
Yeah.
All the way from the blue line. That one I remember just being like, oh wow, I can't believe this.
You weren't at that game.
No, but just watching it at home, I remember it being pretty late because it was Game 7, double overtime. It was not the finals, of course. They ended up losing in the finals that year, but yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Chris?
I probably should say that when the Red Wings finally won the Stanley Cup in the 90s, and because I never thought they were so bad throughout most of the 70s and part of the 80s when I started paying attention to them, that I never thought I'd ever live to see the day. Kind of how I feel about the Lions nowadays. But I gotta say, they're tied for the top in terms of my favorite sports related memories were when I went to my first Tiger game and I went to my first Red Wings game. Just that first when you're going into the stadium and you're going to your seat, when you first see the field or the ice for the first time in your life, there's no sensation quite like it.
It's like that scene from
remember.
Rudy when the dad
With
like,
Ned Beatty.
Yeah, when he's like, it's the most beautiful thing these eyes have ever seen. When he looks at the field.
It's like that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I didn't get the same sensation when I went to my first Lions game. It was cool, but it was just seeing that baseball field at Tiger Stadium, sunny day for the first time, and then in the old Olympia Stadium, going through the concourse and coming out and just seeing that playing surface like that is just amazing experience, both of them.
Question.
Oh, and the other thing I just would like to point out that's a bit of an oddity about me, one of several, probably hundreds, but as big a sports fan as I am, I have never once witnessed in person a postseason game in any sport.
I don't think I have either.
I'm thinking about it.
Never been to a playoff game, or
No.
certainly a championship
That's when the
game.
tickets prices are.
Yeah,
That's
the
when they
tickets are
price
hard to
us out.
get, and I'm priced out.
yeah, it becomes prohibitive at that point. But yeah,
You know,
never seen one in person.
I had a friend in grade school who during this day at school was like, hey, you want to go to this Blackhawks playoff game tonight? And I'm like, hell yeah, it's going to be great. So I was all ready, and then he called me like 5 o'clock. He's like, oh, my mom's going to come with us instead, so you can't go anymore. It's like, me and my dad are going to go. Okay, I can't wait. I was all pumped up about it.
Well, never mind.
My mom's going.
That's not
Irresponsible
My
to
mom
ask.
changed her mind.
Well, I'm sure he didn't even ask her. The dumb kid was just like, you go instead of her. That's
I'm trying to think if there was one for a game that I was actually at. Can't really think of any that were of particular note.
no.
Not really. I guess when our uncle got, I remember a little of it. You weren't there, I don't think.
No, I wasn't there.
No, but in '84, when our uncle got kicked out of the Cubs-Mets game.
You were there, huh?
Yeah, for throwing a beer at Keith Hernandez.
So, all right.
Which
now that you brought it up-
Which Hernandez deserved. I'll say that.
So, tell me what happened. I've seen the newspaper clippings.
So
I would have been a baby or whatever.
I would have been 4.
Yeah.
But I do have memories of it. Went to the game. We were right by the Mets dugout, right behind it.
Good seats.
Hernandez hits a homer, rounds the bases. As he's coming back, there's a guy standing near us. His seats are in the same row, I believe.
Yeah.
He's heckling Hernandez, calling him a bum, whatever. You fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And Hernandez nonchalantly, he gets a cup of water from probably the bat boy, whoever runs it out there.
Yeah.
Takes a drink without looking, throws it into the audience, like into the crowd. He's thinking, I'm gonna just shut this guy up.
Yeah.
Hits our uncle instead.
Was it?
Who
was
at
a psycho?
Who at that moment was exchanging cash for a beer, and then he gets hit by water. Throws the beer at Keith Hernandez, goes to jail. We have to go get him. I remember it being like some small jail in Wrigleyville underneath a bridge, and I remember standing out there thinking, what are we doing? So
I remember you guys telling that story.
that's
So you realize that's a real life Seinfeld scenario.
Well, and
that happened.
this is our Uncle Leo, so another Seinfeld
character
type
name.
connection
that's
there. Yeah.
crazy how that.
We have the clippings in a photo album at our parents' house. Next time I go there, I'll try to take a picture.
I think I've got.
Ah, Nick's got
I've
it.
got it on my phone right now.
But it looks angry.
Oh yeah, he's upset,
And
and he should be.
And he was the type who would have loved nothing more than to get into a fight with anyone at any time. So
And Keith Hernandez deserved it,
yeah,
and he still deserves. If anybody out there sees him,
throw beer at him.
no.
Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
actually.
no, that's not.
I was gonna say
No
it
good.
without
No good.
saying it.
No good.
But yeah, that was. I guess that would be it.
Yep. Okay. Question 3. What is something you've tried that you're absolutely terrible at and gave up on quickly?
That's a good one.
So you guys are both formidable guitar players. Is there anything you've tried where you're like, this is never going to happen?
That's a fairly easy one for me. It's cooking. I just don't have an aptitude for it.
Really?
At all. I mean, I can make I can heat up a can of soup or, make a fried egg if I absolutely had to, or a pot of oatmeal or whatever. But to actually, do what Nick does with the baked treats or what my wife does with actual meals, I do not have the aptitude for it.
Okay.
And when I was in middle school, I actually took there was an elective class, teen cooking, that I took, and they tried to teach you the proper way to cook, and I don't have an aptitude for it. Nobody wants me to do any cooking for them or anybody else that they care about, because it's just not going to end well.
Nick?
I would say, we've been talking about sports and stuff like that. There were times where I thought I might be good at a certain sport. I realized I'm not an athlete. Played football, played hockey, played baseball, played basketball, played soccer. None of which I was particularly good at. There was no real excelling at any of those. Like, the fundamentals I was able to at least kind of have a handle on, I think. But
I never had that instinct of wanting to beat people. I just like to do the thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing is, football and hockey, particularly at the high school level.
Yeah.
To some people, that's a legal way to assault people.
Oh yeah, it was.
And I don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't have that desire.
Well, you also don't have that competitive streak, like you said, to win at all costs.
I mean, I could get competitive. I would admit that, but the wanting to sacrifice either your body or someone else's, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's by the boards in hockey and they've got the puck, and I'm in my legal right as far as the rules of the game go to just destroy them up against the boards, I'm not gonna do it.
You would get in the way. And
I would try to sneak up behind them and grab the puck or something.
Excuse me, mister, your skates on.
I mean, you're supposed to hit them.
Yeah.
Which I would run into them and stuff, but I wouldn't.
But you wouldn't
I
try
wouldn't,
to
I wouldn't
destroy them.
No, and then you would see that. If in an NHL game somebody takes someone's head off.
Yeah.
Someone blindsides somebody. It's like, oh man, did you see that? That was. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm with you.
That's really kind of crossing a line. I mean, I get it. It's part of the game.
Part of the game, but it's
crossing
not
the line
you.
into that's not cool.
You gotta send me that. Nick's got the
top right
Uncle
corner.
Leo
Uncle
picture.
Leo stating his case in the picture there. The umpire. Yeah. So anyway, the hyper violent aspect of it, the wanting to take it to that level, where something damage can be done to somebody, including yourself. I don't have that, so I was never willing to go that far with it.
I remember being really surprised playing hockey, because we played all the time when we were kids, roller hockey and ice hockey, and that was like one of our go-tos. But once I played organized hockey when we got to high school, that's when I learned, this is what Nick said, where there are a certain percentage of players who are only there to try to hurt you when the referee's not looking. Like behind the play, where there's no pads, and you want to, and for no reason.
Had that happen.
And you're like, what do you, and I didn't have not that I wasn't a tough guy by any means, but I was like, I had a bad temper with that. Where like, he just tried to hurt me. I would just chase the guy, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I wouldn't play. I wasn't playing hockey anymore. I would just chase the guy, and I would just try to tackle him and just start hitting him because Oh
yeah. No, I've had that happen. I remember in football after the play, dude nailed me. No whistle, no nothing. Stood there, said something to me. Mm-hmm. What was that?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's a rude awakening when you're used to just playing with your friends and like you said, you can competitively play the game, but there's a difference when it's like, oh, these people their goal is to just try to hurt someone legally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my last hockey game, I remember, I got hit up against the boards. Mm-hmm. The seniors didn't care anymore. Guy hit me. My head hit the boards. I had the scrambled TV vision for a couple seconds.
Really?
And then a guy got thrown out because he tried to check me from behind.
On that hit? Or on
a different hit.
Oh, jeez.
Because the other team was losing and the seniors didn't care.
Over. Yeah.
And the ref was watching for it, so he stopped it right when the guy attempted that and threw the kid out of the game. And I didn't even know what happened, but yeah, it's... I don't know.
Yeah, bunch of dirtbags.
I mean, I get it. It's a game. It's a violent game, but
there's degrees. But you're not even playing the game.
There are rules.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So that's it, huh?
That's it.
All right. Well,
I stink at other things, but I'm just gonna say that.
But you haven't quit the other things.
No.
That was part of the question.
No, I mean,
gave up.
Sound clips for this show is one of them.
No,
haven't quit that yet.
Not true. Not true. You're the leading sound clip producer in the podcast world. All right. Thank you to Chris for his Yardo questions. You can go to potofthunder.com, click that widget, and add 3 questions. Maybe we'll read them next week. Maybe not. Maybe we'll read them in a couple weeks.
And thank you for all the submissions for next week.
Oh, yeah, for Nick.
They're appreciated. I've been enjoying them. I want everybody to know that.
Yeah.
Pretty good response.
Yeah. Quite a few added to the list. All righty. Well, we'll be back next week with more Pot of Thunder.
Can I play with titties? The pervert stared at his hairy balls. Can I play with titties? From this creep she'll take it all. Can I play with titties? She saw my prick and she laughed at me. Ha! Can I play with titties? She said these tits you'll never see.